Commentary on construction funny when the construction site becomes a comedy stage. Part 1/8. Opening remarks. Laughter amidst the dust and concrete. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. To our special construction funny. Laughter amidst the dust and concrete. I am your commentator, and today, we will journey across construction sites around the world, places where caution and seriousness are the rules, but sometimes unexpected, silly, and incredibly humorous situations, turning diligent construction workers into unintentional comedians. We are not talking about dangerous accidents, but rather moments of mindless, adorable misunderstandings, or unique with solutions that make the audience burst into laughter. Construction is hard work, but these videos are vivid proof that humor always finds a way to sneak into life, even under the scorching sun and the noise of machinery. Let's see how our hard heroes can make these humorous masterpieces. Segment 1, a lesson in gravity, the power of the wheel. Opening visual, a construction site where concrete is being poured, seemingly a small sidewalk or house foundation.
Off for a family of 4.
Welcome to our first scene, a classic situation that I'd like to name, the gravity challenge with a wheelbarrow. You see, in the bottom right corner of the screen, there's a construction worker with a distinctive yellow vest. He is standing on a temporary wooden platform, likely to reach the right height for pouring the concrete. He looks very confident, tightly holding the wheelbarrow, or barrel, filled with the liquid cement mixture, ready to dump it into the mold. And here, the moment of destiny. He exerts force to push the barrel forward, but forgets one crucial, absolutely crucial detail. The wheelbarrow's handle does not exist. The wheelbarrow, already heavy with material, receives an extra push from the wood. And what must happen, happens. It starts moving forward faster than expected. Look at this. The worker's face shifts from intense concentration to an expression of utter panic in a mere second. He tries to hold it back, but momentum has gone. The notable thing is, since he's standing on a narrow wooden platform, as the barrow dashes out, he is forced to follow it, awkwardly.
Oh my life.
Visual. The worker is trying to hold the barrow while stumbling down into some mud or a small puddle. A spectacular fall, but not of concrete. Our worker concludes the situation with a non-scripted landing. Half his body pitches forward, and the wheelbarrow, as if it has fulfilled its mission, also tips over and spills almost all the concrete onto the ground, but not in the spot needed to be poured. The concrete splatters a bit, but most importantly, he's okay. He immediately jumps up, staring intently at the wheelbarrow as if it were the culprit of a crime, with a look of bewilderment mixed with slight annoyance. And look at the reaction of his colleague. Another worker standing nearby, instead of rushing to help, has covered his mouth, chuckling. That's the construction site spirit. Prioritize filming first, helping second, of course, when they know for sure their colleague is not in danger. The lesson here, when working at a height or on a platform, remember that gravity is a harsh purpose, and a wheelbarrow is an unreliable companion when you are distracted. This is a gently humorous scene, demonstrating the in construction, sometimes haste leads to the haste to clean up. I have completed the translation of your provided text. Would you like me to continue translating the subsequent segments? Wrote in the previous conversation. Commentary on construction site becomes a comedy site. Part 2/N. Segment 2, testing the durability of the ladder, or the trust in a teammate. Visual shifts to an area where windows are being installed or a canopy is being installed. There are 2 workers.
Sorry.
We move on to the next scene. Situation placed in the wrong spot. This is a performance of the lack of basic physics calculation combined with a touch of overconfidence. You see, there are 2 workers here. Worker A, climbing up, and Worker B, supposedly holding the ladder. This aluminum ladder looks a bit shorter than necessary to reach the third point. But Worker A decides, Just climb, and we'll figure it out later. Worker A starts climbing with a look of utmost professionalism. He reaches the last rung and realizes he is still half a meter away from the canopy. Visual, Worker A begins to tiptoe, leaning forward to reach the edge. And then, the biggest mistake of the day is made. Instead of asking Worker B to bring a longer ladder or use a platform, Worker A decides to stretch out to the roof, gripping the edge of the roof. But wait, folks, look down. Where is Worker B? Worker B, the one task, sees this opportunity to lean against the wall and test on the front. He is holding the ladder with one lazy big toe, but perhaps not holding it at all. Here the skill of this way is multitasking. And here, the slow motion transition begins. As Worker A shifts his weight to one side to reach the canopy edge, the unsecured ladder begins to slide slightly away from the wall. Visual. The ladder slides sideways. Worker A is left dangling, his face showing clear Worker A instantly becomes a pendulum attracting Worker. His face at this moment is the perfect blend of complete calmness, helplessness, and a silent thirst reserved for Worker B. Hearing the ladder's screech, Worker B starts, looks up, and sees his teammate dangling like a hanging basket. He frantically throws his phone and rushes over, but it's too late. The ladder has completely slid horizontally and crashes down. Fortunately, Worker A managed to hold onto the roof edge just in time, and lands relatively safely onto a pile of sand or grass. After dusting himself off, the next scene is Worker A looking at Worker B with a glare of, "I will never trust you again." Worker B can only scratch his head, give an awkward laugh, and mumble something like, "I thought the ladder had automatic anti-slip feet." The lesson from this situation, construction workers, not the place to test friendships or absolute truths. And if you are the ladder holder, please, hold the ladder. This is a humorous warning about the importance of supervision and adherence to basic safety, in a very dramatic way. Total word count, approximate 850 words, cumulative from part 1. Segment 3, the self-driving excavator in the endless space. Visual shifts to a vacant lot land. Level. A mid-sized excavator is operating. And now, let's move to a scene full of action and surprise. I call it the excavator's fateful sprint. At the center of the screen is an excavator, performing earth-leveling work. The excavator operator, a guy who looks like he's been working all day, is showing signs of fatigue or distraction. You see, he's trying to swing the boom and bucket to dump soil at a certain area. While swinging, he seems to have accidentally nudged one of the control levers. And then, the magic happens. The excavator, instead of stopping, starts spinning. Automatically. But not a gentle spin. It's spinning at fast velocity. The operator's face right now is unmistakable. It's a mix of absolute surprise and a little bit of fear, but above all, the realization that he's creating a scene for the ages. He desperately tries to grab the controls, but the excavator just spins, and spins like a giant top. Visually, the excavator spins in circles, creating a large dust cloud and scattering dirt and rocks. The operator is struggling in the cabin.
The legendary job site, where builders rewrite comedy history, Part 2. Welcome back to the show. If the previous segments explored the confrontation between humans and basic physics, this part will delve into impulsive decisions and the chain reactions that can only occur when a team is working under high pressure. Let's follow these amateur actors as they continue to create absurdly humorous situations. Segment 25. The crane hooks unwilling passenger, the impromptu flight. We begin with a dramatic scene, which I call the crane hooks unwilling passenger. This situation involves transporting a bundle of steel or large material high up using a crane. Worker A, responsible for rigging the material, has completed his job. He is on the ground. signaling the crane operator to begin the lift. After the material has risen by 2 meters, he suddenly remembers an extremely critical detail he forgot, perhaps a final line to secure the ladder, or a safety line. Instead of signaling to stop, in a moment of haste and overconfidence, he decides to run after it and leap, grasping the crane hook to a section of the rising material line. And just like that, he becomes the crane's ongoing stowaway. He is lifted off the ground, dangling in midair. His face instantly transforms into a mixed expression of immediate regret and fear. He attempts to shout to alert the operator, but the noise of the job site swallows his voice. The crane operator, completely unaware of his swinging passenger, continues lifting the material to the 5th or 6th floor. The sight of him clinging on, legs sticking into the void, passing floor after floor, makes everyone below burst into uncontrollable laughter. Finally, luckily, a colleague high up notices and signals for the lift to stop. He is pulled to safety, but then has to face a torrent of non-stop laughter and a long, unpleasant reprimand from the manager. Commentary. In construction, a moment of laziness can earn you a free but very unpleasant flight. The crane hook is for hoisting material, not for personal transportation. Segment 26, the cement water bubble. The hydraulic disaster of the powder bag. Moving on to the next segment, I call it the cement water bubble. This is an example of a solid object meeting a liquid object and creating an unexpected effect. A worker is carrying 2 bags of cement on his shoulder, walking wearily through a muddy area. Due to the overnight rain, a large, opaque pool of water, blocks the path. He steps carefully, but the second step trips over a submerged root or rock under the mud. He stumbles, and one of the 2 cement bags slips off his shoulder and falls straight into the center. The puddle. The cement bag, made of thick but not completely waterproof craft paper, immediately begins to absorb water. The hilarious thing that happens is that the water absorption rate of the bottom is much faster than the disintegration rate. The cement bag rapidly swells, forming a giant gray, rectangular water bubble before it can fully dissolve. The worker can only stand and watch. Mouth agape, completely helpless. Just a few seconds later, the bubble bursts, releasing a cloud of liquid cement mixture that sprays onto its clothes and all over the surrounding area. Commentary. When cement unexpectedly meets water, it doesn't just dissolve. It creates an artistic splash. Always treat large puddles as a hydraulic trap custom designed for your water-soluble materials. Segment 27, the mystery of the missing bolt, the stoppage of the bridge. This is a story of a micro-disruption. I call it the mystery of the missing bolt. An entire crew is assembling a large steel structure, perhaps a main beam or critical support element. They have been working all night, the material has been lifted and perfectly aligned. There is only one final step, tightening the last few bolts to secure the structure. The lead worker reaches into his tool pouch for a large bolt, a heavy amphibious bolt as vital as the breath of the entire project. And the bolt is not there. The entire team stops. 6 experienced, adult men begin a desperate search on the ground, flipping over every plank, sifting through every pile of sand. The entire structure, worth billions of dollars, comes to a halt because of one tiny component. The scene shifts into comedy mode. One worker uses his bare hands to dig in the mud. Another uses a small magnet to a string, covering it over the ground like a treasure hunter. The manager stands with his arms crossed, his face showing the kind of helplessness that wishes it could turn into a movie. After 10 minutes of frantic searching, the lead worker suddenly slaps his head and removes his helmet. The bolt is resting neatly inside the helmet, where he had probably placed it earlier today. Free his hands. Commentary. Never underestimate the ability of a small object to cause massive chain chaos. And remember to check for parts of pocket inside your hard hat. Segment 28. The plank balancing dance, where art meets danger. Moving on to a truly incredible, though unsafe, display of personal skill. I call it the plank balancing dance. A worker needs to transport a long, wide sheet of plywood, about 3 meters, through a narrow, obstacle-filled hallway. Instead of carrying it on his shoulder or asking someone to hold the other end, he decides on an optimal transport solution based on worker physics. He places the plank vertically on top of his head, using both hands to stabilize it initially. Then, he begins walking, and incredibly, he go with both hands. He moves the plank across his head using only his neck and shoulder muscles to adjust the center balance. He maneuvers past buckets, around the wheel and even spins 90 degrees gracefully. It is a demonstration of experience. However, at the end of the walk, he gets too excited or distracted. He suddenly looks down to avoid a power cord, and instantly, the plank loses its balance. It crashes down, causing no injury except for a loud thud and creating a strong gust of wind that blows off. The papers off the manager's desk nearby. He can only shrug, admitting that pride defeated physics for a split second. Commentary: balancing skills are great, but remember, your head is designed to. Wear a hard hat, not to serve as a load-bearing platform for building materials. Segment 29, the ladder that ate the paint bucket, the hydraulic assassination. This is a classic example of a devastating chain reaction, which I call the ladder that ate the paint bucket. Two workers are working high up on a standard aluminum ladder. At the base of the ladder, they have carefully placed a full bucket of paint, probably white or blue, and some small tools. Worker A, on the ladder, needs a screwdriver and asks Worker B to hand it out. Worker B reaches for the tool and, in a moment of intention, lightly drops the screwdriver. This tiny screwdriver falls, hitting no one, but it strikes a rung on the ladder. That slight impact is enough to create a small vibration. The ladder vibrates, and the ladder foot, placed too close, immediately hits the side of the paint bucket. Creating a flowing river of color on the uncured concrete floor. Best of all, Worker B, the one who dropped the screwdriver, jumps out of the way but lands with both feet right in the middle of the paint bucket. He ends up with perfectly painted boots and a grimace on the prospect of this mess. Commentary: never place liquid materials that are easy to spill into objects that are prone to vibration. Sometimes it breaks the walls of the heavy material, but a tiny screwdriver. Segment 30, the unexpected sand surfer, the workers face conclude this section with improbable action. Sequence, which I call the unexpected sand surfer. A job site features a giant pile of sand or gravel, dumped to form a high slope. On the top of the pile, instead of walking around or finding a safe path, he decides to slide down to save time. He places a sheet of plywood under his feet like a snowboard and begins the descent. Initially, things go well. He slides down at a moderate speed, creating a wave of sand trailing behind him. He even attempts to strike a surfing pose. But at the final section of the slope, the speed increases beyond control. He loses his balance and the plank slides out from under his feet. He continues to roll down the slope, turning into a giant sand ball, covered in dust from head to toe. When he stops at the bottom of the hill, he is just a gray, coughing, shaking human-shaped ball, laughing bitterly. Commentary: large piles of construction material are not ski resorts. Always remember that saving 1 minute of walking can cost you 10 minutes of dusting off and checking to make sure you are still in one piece. The legendary job site, where builders rewrite comedy history, Part 3. Welcome, esteemed viewers, the legendary job site, where builders rewrite comedy history, Part 5. Welcome back, esteemed audience, to the continuing saga of construction chaos. We have navigated the perils of civil tourism. Liquid revenge. Now, we enter the domain of the Titans, heavy machine. This section is a tribute to the hilarious consequences that arise when massive power meets momentary human distraction. Poor planning and the treacherous, invisible instability of the Earth itself. Segment 43, the excavator sneeze, the boom of miscalculation. We open with the king of the job site, the excavator. This machine is a marvel of hydraulic power and precise movement, until it's operated and collapse in judgment. I call this the excavator sneeze. A worker is operating a mid-sized excavator, attempting to load a dump truck. He has positioned the truck slightly too far away, requiring the excavator arm, the boom, to be fully extended. He scoops a large bucket load of wet soil. As he swings the load over the truck, he must stop the massive momentum with hydraulic resistance. However, he misjudges the weight, the hydraulics, or perhaps he just drank too much coffee. He attempts to stop the swing too abruptly.
It's pretty loose.
Instead of a smooth stop, the entire machine jerks violently, causing the boom to snap back slightly and then shoot the target. The effect is like a giant metal creature having uncontrolled sneeze. The entire bucket load of wet soil, instead of landing neatly inside the dump truck bed, flies over the cab and splatters directly onto the windshield and hood of the truck. The truck driver, who is leaning out his window watching, instantly retracts his head, now trapped inside a vehicle with an opaque, mud-covered windscreen. The excavator operator freezes, bucket hovering, realizing he has effectively blinded his co-worker. The truck driver's muffled curses from behind the glass are the perfect, indignant punchline. Commentary: heavy machinery involves human explanation. When a multi-ton machine makes a mistake, the result isn't a spill, it's a geological force. Always respect momentum. Segment 24, measuring tapes numbers. This segment focuses on the universal job site frustration, the measuring tape science. It's a silent, passive-aggressive conflict. A worker needs to cut a series of identical steel steps from frame. He measures the first one, carefully marking the desired length, let's say 4 feet. He makes a perfect, clean cut. He then measures the gap where the stud should go. The gap is 4 feet and 6 inches. He stares at the cut. Stud, then at the tape measure. He remeasures the stud. It is undeniably 4 feet. He remeasures the gap. It is definitively 4 feet and 6 inches. He then measures the tape measure itself, as if the metal molding is stretched over. Here we go. The video captures the worker's slow, deliberate descent into madness. He checks the blueprint, mutters to himself, and finally, his eyes land on the starting point of his measurement. He discovers the tiny, insignificant oversight. He measured from the 6-inch mark on the tape, not the 0 mark, and forgot to subtract the difference.
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. And right now,
perfectly cut, but now 6 inches too short, a piece of steel, with a face that screams, I have defeated every challenge on this site, but I was outsmarted by a simple number. Commentary. The first 6 inches of any project are the most dangerous. Always ensure your tape measure's hook is engaged, or you will be forced to confront the humbling truth that the tool is smarter than you. Distressed burn. Segment 44, the trench's secret, the self-collapsing ditch. We now turn our attention to the ground itself, which I call the trench's secret. This highlights the unpredictable nature of soil stability. Something explodes. His colleague is standing at the edge, handing tools down. However, the shoring wasn't perfect, or the soil has an unseen weakness, perhaps a pocket of sand or an old, forgotten root system. As the colleague on the edge shifts his weight to hand down a wrench, the weight transfer acts as a the earth on the lip of the trench slips away violently, not causing a major cave-in, but creating a localized collapse. A significant amount of dirt, gravel, and large clods of earth tumbles directly down onto the worker's head and shoulders. He is buried up to his waist in the fresh dirt, looking up at his colleague with a wide-eyed, dirt-covered expression of disbelief. The colleague, having just unintentionally assaulted his friend with a shovel-load of earth, simply stares down, guilty and helpless. As the victim coughs dust, it is a fickle foundation, always ready to reclaim materials. The law of the job site states that on the edge of a trench will always wait for the most awkward moment to stage its dramatic descent. Segment 46, forklifts battling the pirouette. Next, a scene of vehicular mayhem, the forklifts battle. This involves a moment where a skilled operator forgets a basic principle. An experienced forklift operator is trying to quickly move a tall, wide pallet of lightweight, bulky items, like insulation foam or empty cardboard boxes. He is driving too fast around the corner, confident in his abilities. As the forklift turns sharply, the high center of gravity of the load, combined with the speed, causes a spectacular, if slow motion, event. The forklift itself doesn't tip, the entire stack of material slides off the forks. The tall stack of boxes executes a perfect, graceful pirouette in the air, spinning away from the machine. The boxes scatter across the job site in a chaotic, weightless explosion, turning a neatly organized area into a yard sale. White foam and cardboard. The operator slams the brakes, covers his face with his hands, and sinks into the seat. He now faces the miserable task of reloading hundreds of empty boxes, one by one. Commentary: the forklift is a tool for strength, not speed. When driving heavy equipment, remember that inertia is the same. Co-pilot. Never treat a pallet of unstable goods like a race car. Segment 47, Pylons Revenge, Unsecurity. This segment addresses the foolishness of securing heavy objects to ones. I call it the Pylons Revenge. The worker needs to hold a rope drop or anchor a temporary barrier. Lacking a heavy anchor point, he spots a convenient, bright orange plastic nearby. He ties his rope firmly around the base of the pylon, believing its wide base provides adequate resistance. He pulls on the rope. The load doesn't. He pulls harder, his weight. The plastic pylon, having stored the tension, does not break. Instead, it suddenly slides forward.
You can't turn it off?
Loses his balance violently as the pylon approaches him at speed. He tumbles backwards, while the plastic pylon, now free from restraining tension, snaps upright and smashes him. Head as he falls. The pylon rests innocently beside him, having exacted its smooth plastic revenge, while the worker lies on the ground, questioning his life choices regarding the commentary. A brightly colored plastic is a warning sign, not a structural angle. When you try to make a light it will inevitably turn on and smack. The face. Segment 48, The Level's Betrayal, The Spirit Bubble Disaster. We conclude part 5 with the final measuring malfunction, The Level's Betrayal. This is the moment the worker trusts his iota.
Mira el pobre, mira el pobre.
His tool.
Mira.
A worker is setting
Mira
along
cuánto pobre.
expensive piece of material, perhaps a kitchen countertop or a window sill. He places his spirit level on the surface. The tiny air bubble in the level shows. The surface is perfectly plumb. He sighs with satisfaction, securing his material up close. Then, a colleague comes over, looks at the work, and casually turns the level 100 degrees. The bubble now rests completely against the edge of the body, showing the surface is dramatically out of level. The worker is instantly horrified.